Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another special edition of Sherm's Beat Breakdowns. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Ben Harper, aka GLDED. We're here to talk about Lank, your brand new release. Congratulations, my friend. How are you feeling?
Feeling super good. Thank you for having me on Beat Breakdown.
Yeah, you like that name? It got a ring to
Yeah,
it, doesn't it?
great ring to it. Perfect for this track too.
Yes.
But I'm feeling good. Just released on this past Tuesday, so I'm super excited to have it out. This is one that I recorded actually months ago, and I just kind of had it sitting around, and it was kind of the perfect time to release it. But I feel really good about it, and so glad to have it out and be able to share it with people.
Yeah, I remember you actually showed it to me a few months ago, and I think it was maybe 70% done. And then you showed it to me maybe 2 months ago, and oh my gosh, transcendence, man. And when I shared it on Instagram, I said, listen to this if you want to feel something real. And that just came from the heart, man. And this song is so special in so many ways. So glad it's out there because it's my favorite GLDED track.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's actually my favorite GLDED track to date too.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's like,
really,
yeah, no guitars. It was kind of
yeah.
like it was like an open palette, and like an opportunity to explore some new sounds and new method of production, and just try something new. At the time, I felt maybe a little bit locked in with acoustic guitars and some electric guitars, so it was kind of fun to play around with some new instruments and not be inhibited by all the songs that I've written in the past like many years.
Right. Well, it's exciting to hear you trying something new, and the song has so much texture to it, and it's really a beautiful composition. Before we actually go in and take a deep dive on how you made this, can you tell us everybody who was involved in the track from front to back?
Yeah, sure thing. So I start, like most of my music, I start all of it just making it out of my home studio here in Chicago. So I do quite a bit of work on that, and I mean months of production work and writing work. So I did most of which we'll get into in a minute, the synth work and the drum programming. I did all that at home, and then I hit a point where I was like, I really like the theme that I have going on here, but I think there's something else that we can add to it. So I had the opportunity to work with a couple of my friends down in Bloomington, Indiana, which I'd actually done for my previous record as well.
Shout out B-Town.
Yeah. And so I got a chance to work with Mark Edlin, who is an amazing percussionist, who again worked on the last record with me, and he just did an unbelievable job, and it sounds so good. So he was playing drums, and then my other friend Nathan Kane was the recording engineer for that one as well. So we just we booked some studio time at Primary Sound Studios in Bloomington. It's like if you're familiar with Bloomington, it's this studio in a converted church. So it's a really, really cool place.
Yeah.
And so we just booked some studio time there for like 2 days and just worked all day on this track and a couple other tracks as well.
When was that?
Oh boy, I think it was summer of, what would it be, 2019? I think. So it was a while ago.
Yeah.
I mean, these tracks and most of my tracks are, they take like a year to make or so. So I just, make them incrementally over several months.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that part in Bloomington, and then I take the recordings that we work on there, bring them back into my sessions at home, do some editing and additional production work, and then so once we had like the core of the song, once Mark's amazing awesome drum parts were on there, that kind of even opens up a different realm or different avenues for other instruments to add on. So I did a little bit of work, more production work then, just at my home studio. And then I finished up here in Chicago. There's it's called Gravity Studios.
Yep.
And so I worked with my friend and recording engineer there, David Lopez, to record the vocals And that was kind of like the final piece that we added in kind of on top of all the other layers at the very end of the process. Yeah. So, and then so once it was, once we had all the recording done, again, this probably took about a year or so to do that. Then I just kind of like over the past year, it's just been just a weird year to release music. So I just kind of had it sitting for a while.
Right.
And then I worked with Henry Stair to mix this bad boy. So I got to sit, he's lives in Chicago as well. So I got to sit with him for a little while and get the mix dialed in. And then sent it off to Nathan Kane for mastering. So it was definitely
it's like an assembly line of a track, dude.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah. But
so
it was
cool though.
It was good to get like, I mean, all these people are, you know, my great friends, and it was really fun to work on it with them. But definitely a lot of hands worked on this track, but that's kind of what makes it fun. And like everyone, you know, makes their own mark on it. So that's why it was a really cool experience to be able to work with these different people.
Yeah, I think that's so special, man. One thing that I think a lot of producers are realizing, or people that already been doing what you're doing, is everybody sort of has a specific expertise in music. You know what I mean? Like some people are extremely good at mixing and mastering, but maybe they can't come up with ideas. Some people are very good at coming up with ideas, but maybe they can't finish the track, right? Maybe some people are really good at singing and vice versa. And it's just so incredible how many people you involve that are experts in their field to create, like I said, an incredible composition. So no surprises that it turned out this well.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, it was super fun to be able to work with different people and get everyone's expertise. It was great.
Did I say well wrong? Because we've been saying very well and I confused myself. For those that don't know, B Harp and I have a interesting language how we speak to each other. Very well. It turns out very good. I'd like to rescind there.
Very good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Very well. The track was produced very well. There we go. Sounds right.
That sounds pretty good.
That sounds pretty good. Well, let's hop into this track, man. I want to walk through this one with you. And for those that want a better understanding of sort of what we're trying to do here, I know there's going to be a lot of people who watch this who are Logic users, Ableton users, music producers, indie musicians, electronic musicians, whatever it might be, even just a fan. Shout out to our friend Matt Harder, who I'm sure is going to enjoy this. We're going to try and give everybody a understanding of how Ben went about this and sort of the process and thoughts and steps, of course, that went into this. So I'm really excited, man. I've been watching you in the studio for years now, and I always love seeing how you put together these tracks. It's truly special because, like you said, you build these up. So you come in and you start with one idea, and then you build off of that, and then you continue to sort of grow. And gosh, it's special to see.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, this will be fun. So
yeah, I'm going to let you steer here.
Okay, cool.
But at least, you know, for the beginning to get us started, but I'll certainly have some questions and I'll pop in, but whatever you think that the listener or the viewer is going to enjoy the most.
Cool.
Go for it.
Yeah. So just at a high level, this is the Logic session. So this is what I use for all the recording, and you know, this is actually the working session that I've used. So not the final bounced out stems, but bounced down stems, but so this still has all the plugins and the editing marks and stuff like that. But this is the way that I operate. I mean, every session is like a live growing session. And eventually I just hit a point where I'm like, I don't know what else to do with this. So I have to end it.
When do you usually come to that line? Is it different every time?
It's different, but I swear, like every record that I complete, every song ends in like the same week. Like I'll end one and then I'll be like, actually, I probably don't have anything else to do on like this one. And then once I make that decision, then I'm like, well, if I'm not going to change that one, then I probably won't change this one either. So yeah, this is the working session. We have a couple different groups here. But we can kind of talk through them probably by groups first.
Yeah.
But the first thing I wanted to show was the bass part. And this is where the first this is where I started. And I got I've never played synth before. I still don't play synth, but I was messing around with it. It's called a Virus TI Polar.
Okay.
And it's a hardware synth, but it's a, what's it called? Like a software emulation.
Mm-hmm.
It's really strange, but anyway, it's so it makes all different kinds of like synth noises. Like I said,
it's hard to explain. I understand.
I don't know anything about it, but like mostly I was just like, when I had this, I was like, there were presets that you could go to. So there was 2 presets that were really interesting, which we'll talk about. One was bass, so like the bass bank, and there you could filter through all the different like bass preset sounds. Mm-hmm. And I found this one, and it just like spoke to me. And I was just playing around with it and just like ended up playing a melody. I'll play a little bit of just the bass part.
Okay.
And it kind of fades in a little bit here. Mm-hmm. But it's just kind of like I think it's like a sine wave bass.
Sounds great, by the way. Can you zoom in a little more on those waveforms?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and again, because I'm not a synth player, I wasn't even sure how to engineer it. I just like
has simple notes here.
Yeah. So yeah, I played that motif, and it's kind of just looped there throughout. You can see, but I couldn't figure out how to, like there was something with the looping or the sequencing that I like play the notes, but then I programmed MIDI from the Virus and then played the MIDI back through the Virus, kind of. So that's how I got like the loop, or like there was some reason like if I tried to loop the MIDI every time a new note started, it like sounded like weird.
A little distortion, yeah.
Yeah, or something like that, or like a little like resonant peak or something like that. Anyway, it didn't sound.
You don't typically loop. I mean, at least from what I've seen, you usually play an entire instrument out, but this is a first for you, right?
Yeah. Again, because I don't play synth, I was just like, I want it to be relatively quantized,
right?
Because I want to play like other stuff over this,
right?
But also, I was going for the more rigid, like quantized feel in this song, because most of my other songs are very not loose, but they're more linear type instruments. Yeah, like linear, like the inverse of like discrete, like MIDI is. Anyway.
Okay.
So I got the bass part and I was like, yo, that's sick. Like I want to try. I've never tried synth bass before. Mm-hmm. And then as every song begins like that, you're like, all right, what else can I add on top of that? So I went back to the Virus. Like this whole song started as like the Virus synth. Mm-hmm. So then I added on the back to the preset menu, and I went to the organ bank and was like testing out all the organ sounds. And so I found this like cool organ sound that just kind of like makes some contrast from the low end.
Can you solo those two by themselves really quick?
Yeah. And it's the same thing, like programmed with MIDI and then sent the MIDI through the Virus.
Are both of these tracks using the same amount of volume compression? Are you just doing that to layer for sound quality, or what's your reasoning for that?
So it's a left channel and a right channel.
Okay.
So it's a stereo output from the Virus. So that's the same reason there's a left and a right bass.
Got it.
And there's a left and a right organ channel as well.
Do you usually do that?
Yeah, through the Virus, and then I also do that through the Kemper too. The Kemper is actually a very like similar instrument. I think it's actually made by the same parent company.
Nice.
But yeah, I like to stereo output if I can, or excuse me, left and right channel if I can. Mm-hmm. That may be stereo. Anyway, I think that I guess the differences between the tracks were one of my preamp channels was broken. So that's why like one of these looks like slightly different than the other one.
Yeah, I see that.
But I'm also not exactly an audio engineer either. So
It works. It works.
Okay. So then, yeah, we just had like a good like theme or motif, but again, this is looped as well. So that's looped throughout. And then I think the next natural step was taking a look at the drums, like drum programming. So I also got this cool new drum machine. It's called an Electron Rhythm, and it's an analog drum machine. Again, stereo output. And so I just started literally the same thing. Like I don't know how to play synth. I don't know anything about like programming drum machines either. So I just messed around, like trying to figure out what seems cool. So if we solo the bass, and then usually starts with like this is just a snare with the onboard delay from the rhythm. And anyway, so
is this your usual progression when you're creating tracks? I mean, do you always kind of start with a sound and then continue to build up there, or do you have a reason? Yeah.
No, exactly. And to be honest with you, I think every single one of these instruments it's a function of messing around.
Yeah.
Like seeing what works. And what we don't see in the final song is the 99% of the work that like doesn't make the track.
Yep.
So like to get to this like very simple snare part, it took me going through like multiple snare samples to get like the right sound.
Yeah.
So, and then just adding in just a like kick sample. I think this was just through just like a Contact sample pack. I usually use I think it's called Drum Lab, but I've just used Drum Lab for the last like 6 years. Those are the only drums I use. Just I don't know if they sound any better or any worse, but it's just what I'm familiar with.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, BR. 118 BPM is pretty quick for you. Am I saying that right at the top?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you change the tempo after a certain part, or did you start with this pace?
I started with this. Or actually, like it started as messing around with the bass part, and like that was kind of the cadence that I liked.
Gotcha.
And then so I just mapped the tempo to that or matched it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is quicker. I mean, typically my songs are in the 70s and like high 60s, 70s, 80s. But this is pretty quick. So yeah, added in the snare, added in the kick, and then just like layered another kick with this one I used just a Contact sample again, but then I ran it out through my guitar pedal board, like through a distortion pedal.
Okay. Oh, that sounds cool.
So it just sounded like kind of like
a giant. Yeah, it does sound like a giant knocking on the door. Nice giant.
Yeah, nice giant. And then I've like put some filters on it and EQ and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like, because I think actually let's check out like what it sounds.
Shout out to Sound Toys.
Yeah, so just like way too harsh like that.
Right.
But I think it just sounds a little bit better like with some of that high end filtered out.
I love it.
Okay, so then like once I had the bass, like the drums kind of figured out, then I added in some more like aux percussion, like shakers, and then some like hi-hat, like playing on a hi-hat or something like that.
Dude, this is just a sick beat right here.
So, and this is all just a function of like messing around and seeing, oh, that's like sounds pretty good or sounds good.
Yeah, enough. This wasn't on the first track.
And then no, it was not. And then once we played out with so the kick kind of goes with the kick goes with the bass line. Okay, so then all right, so after I added in bass, organ, and then I was messing around with program drums, this is usually where that like 6-month time frame where I don't really know what else to do with the track comes in,
Yeah.
where I'm like just making incremental like tweaks to the hi-hat sound.
Like a psycho, yeah.
Yeah, just like twisting knobs, and then I end up just going back to like square one.
Yeah.
So this was about when I took it to work with Mark. And what I wanted to do was combine the sound of a live drum kit, but layer in the sampled drums, or the sampled kit, or the sampled drums. And they're two different drum parts playing at the same time. But I was really interested in like a maximalist drum sound.
Yep.
So I can solo out what we did with Mark. Also, someone might need to teach me how to like group my tracks, so I can just like automatically solo the drum tracks or whatever. But
hey,
this is just the way I work. So
yeah, you're making it work, bro. So this is all percussion right here?
Yeah. So I mean, we had how it looks like 12 microphones on the drum kit. So we have just different overheads, kick drum mics, snare mics, the whole shebang. It was an awesome setup. It was so cool.
That's a really cool studio then.
Yeah, I learned so much from Nathan just about recording engineering from just watching him.
So he had microphones basically next to every single instrument to individually record them, and then he layers them all together, EQs them, whatever he needs to do, right?
Yeah, and like, I mean, they're all recorded at the same time.
Right.
So yeah, there was like, I mean, the good part about this is, as you can see, there's no plugins that I've used on this. So we just committed to a good sound that we liked.
Yeah, for just volume automate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and actually this is just like inverting the polarity.
Which goes to show how talented of a drummer Mark is too.
Yeah, it just sounds so good. So I can play some of this. Let's see. We'll play like one of the chorus.
Okay.
So it's just like so crisp and clean.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And the dude played, it was like 2 takes.
Yeah.
It was 2 takes. In fact, the first take I was like, because I was in the control room.
Yeah.
He was in the live room.
Right.
And Nathan and I were like jumping up and down because it was like so sick. Like the first time this dude played on top of the track was like mind blowing.
Oh my god.
And we were like, yo, that's so dope. And he was like, yeah, let me like punch into like the third chorus and like try that again. It was like, dude, you're so good.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible. So then when we layer the sample drums plus the live drums.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like a different kind of groove going on two ways, but when they fit together, I think it sounds pretty cool.
He really helps kind of bring like the speed up of the track too.
Yeah, and tie together like the space between the sample drums.
Yeah,
which is what I really like. Yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah, and the cymbals sound so good there. Yeah. Okay. So we got the drum squared away.
Yep.
On top of the bass and the organ. That was really cool.
Yep.
Only one guitar part in this whole song. Actually, sorry, 2 guitar parts. But both are like really minimal. Like one is just one is just like this little like, I think it's called a trill or something like that.
Yeah.
In the chorus. So really simple.
Yeah.
And then there's one guitar fill that is like in this little like interlude.
Ooh, I like that though.
So I just wanted to like mess it up, like put auto tune on it and major compression, and then like the synthesizer plugin.
So cool.
So I wanted it to be like almost a departure, like a laughably minimal amount of guitars in this track.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm laughing because it's just like crazy. You still snuck a little bit in, but yes.
Yeah, I had to sneak a little bit in. It couldn't be like a completely guitarless track.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so then we had I Can Just Solo like the song immediately prior to recording the vocals.
Okay.
So there's enough space that's built to take it into the studio and like start recording some tracks. So then we went to then I went to Gravity here in Chicago. And this whole time, like over the several month period that I'm writing and recording this, I'm also thinking about the lyrics, and typically start with like one motif or like one lyric that sounds really good or that like sounds perfect. And kind of went start with that one lyric and then kept going from there and kept writing. I wonder if I may have not. Typically I write in this little notepad. I don't think it's in this session, but so I find like one lyric that's really good.
Yeah.
So we can probably solo these, but when I went to Gravity, it's an unbelievable studio. Like they've got a Neve desk and like I think this one I was singing to a Bach 251 clone, and it just sounded so good. Wicker Park.
Oh man,
great spot. Great spot.
Yeah,
but yeah, the rig that I was singing through was like $100,000 worth of gear. It's like a huge difference than like singing what I'm used to, like singing into like my $400 mic in my home studio.
In your spare bedroom, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what we did was like the way I typically like to record vocals is I'll record like 7 full passes through or so, and then kind of choose like which one's the best, but all of them are the exact same.
Okay.
So I stack them up. So as you can see here, like this one was the one that I chose as the lead.
Okay.
And then I've got like a whole bunch of like auto tune in the.
We got Little Altar Boy.
Vocals. Oh yeah, Little Altar Boy is my favorite plugin.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you got to know about this one.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I think I use it on every track. But it's an auto tune plugin, or it's a pitch shifter plugin, but it's auto tune, so you can quantize it to make it like a hard tune. And then there's also these like pitch and forming controls. So what else? One of these is like pitched up an octave. So what is this? But I just think it sounds so cool.
Stuart Little. I love it. Oh my gosh.
And admittedly, I don't really know how to mix my own vocals, so I just do the best that I can. And but Henry, the mixing engineer, like really took them to the next level, and really engineering them.
I see some panning going on there too.
Yeah, I think that's probably just for my rough mix purposes.
Okay.
But like Henry knows exactly what to do, and his session was like so impressive, like so far beyond what this is.
When you I think a lot of people have this question too, B-Harp. When you send tracks out to mix and master, how are you bouncing out these stems to him? Does he ask for a raw file like this because he wants to take a look at it himself, or what's your process there?
So I just bounce out. I just change everything to. I kind of like pre-mix it so everything's at like negative like 10 or negative 12 dB.
Yep.
So I kind of like pre-mix it in a way so that the gains are nothing's clipping or anything like that, and everything has plenty of headroom for him to like work with.
Right.
Change everything to straight down the middle. But everything that I do, like every instrument that I do impart some kind of different like flavor on, I want to make sure that I capture the wet signal. So I'll bounce this down through all all the plugins.
Okay.
And then same with the other tracks, like the organ. Like I typically use this acoustic like Neve emulation to just give it some gain on the front end and really just some color.
Yep.
Same thing with Acoustica Taupe. This is like a tape emulation plugin. That sounds
Look
really
at
cool.
that. That's you when you finish the song right there.
Yeah, right there. So these are cool. And mostly those, again, are like, I am not a skilled engineer.
Yeah.
But I just go until it sounds kind of cool and like has a good flavor. So I use that on a lot of them. And a couple other, again, what we're looking for here is just the adding color. So like sound radiator, I use a lot for just some like thickness and grit. Same thing with the capitator from Sound Toys, just adding in some additional drive.
Yep.
And like a little bit of distortion. Most of my reverbs, at least I don't think I bounce the vocals with reverb. I don't bounce them with really anything on them. But I use this Valhalla Vintage Verb quite a bit.
I love Valhalla.
I think it sounds really, really good.
I think it's probably the crowd favorite for reverbs. But while we're talking about the lyrics, Beatheart, what does Lank mean exactly, and what were some of the inspirations for the songwriting?
Well, it's like about being a little bit like fragile, or like you want to be strong, but you're just like not quite there yet, or you're on your way there. So Lank is like you're like spindly, you want to be stronger, but you can't. You're working on it though.
Yeah. So
like spindle and lathe, like a very thin spindle, and then a lathe is like cutting the spindle. So yeah, it's about wanting to be stronger, like physically, mentally, emotionally, and the kind of work that you have to do the work that you have to do to get there.
Yeah, that's inspiring, man. I love that. This song carries that energy.
Yeah, and thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
and it was kind of like a with like a low synth bass that's like really like big and like feels connected to the ground. It was kind of like, it felt like a good dichotomy a little bit.
Yeah, there we go.
Talking about fragility, but it being such a song that's grounded literally in the low end.
Amazing.
So then one more vocal part. Then I was again like just messing around with the vocoder plugin and just added in like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Just program some MIDI chords in that like sounded okay.
So cool, dude.
I'll be okay.
Oh.
Give me some space.
It rests really nicely.
And then so that's it. And there's one more part of the song that I wanted to highlight, is like this very last part leading into the like last chorus and outro.
It's a crescendo.
Oh my gosh, man.
It's
like,
a freaking
and the way that
crescendo,
Mark played
man.
this, it feels like you're getting sucked out of a spaceship.
Oh, that's exactly what I felt like. It's like
it all, like the drums kind of like fall away there, the live drum kit falls away.
When he goes,
and then we have like some more sampled drums here, and then everything falls away. And then like claps start coming in.
Yep. Oh.
And then the bass comes in, the drums come back in.
Oh, it comes in a little early too, like right before the kick. I just noticed that.
Yeah. So that is my favorite part of maybe any song that I've ever made.
I think it might be
it's
too.
Just so hype.
The song builds. Like, one of the reasons I like Pain so much too is because it grows, and I think this song is sort of a variation, maybe in the same arena. Are you? By the way, he's drinking milk right now. You got an Oreo?
Yeah. I got a sleeve of Oreos too.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
not weird.
First, first timer drinking milk on your podcast, eh?
Without a doubt. I mean, I don't even know who would be in the running for drinking milk, but I'd probably put you in the top 3.
Yeah, man. I'm just in the mood for some milk.
For sure,
Some
bro.
milk and Oreos.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite part in any GLDED song. Go, 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 go. I mean, really though, like this song and Pain, it's just it's powerful to see you making music like this. And I don't know, man, it has a lot of meaning. And it's cool to hear you explain Lank in a way, because I think a lot of people can resonate with that, the message behind it. I want to have strength. I want to carry on. I'm working on it, but I'm just not there yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
It's amazing. How do you feel about this track now that it's out, now that you just walked through it?
Super good. I feel super good. And it's kind of fun to revisit this. Like I said, it's been many months since I've been back in this session taking a look at it. I've just worked on so much other music in the meantime. So it's kind of really, it's fun to come back and, you know, see things that decisions that I made, and then kind of be transported back to the time that I remember making that decision. And also just, you know, this song provided a new platform or a new avenue to experiment with other music that I'm making now.
Yeah.
So it was a really, really good experience making it, but it does feel good to have it out now. I think it was in the to be loaded up pile for just a little bit too long.
I'm so glad it's finally out, because I really do. I do remember the moment you showed it to me, and I knew there was something about this track. And I haven't listened to it 15 times like some other people out there in the world probably in one day, but you know what? I'm at 14 and I'm going to make it 15 right after this too.
Love that. I love that.
Dude, it's really, really great job. And like, just keep getting better and better. And it's cool to see you. I wouldn't even say progressing, you know what I mean? Like, you just are trying new things, and I have never seen you have so much fun with making music, and it just puts a smile on my face.
Thank you. Yeah, I had so much fun. Like I said, I was like, this entire track, I'm like a kid. Like, I act like I'm 5 years old. Like, I don't know how to play any instruments. Just like try it out, see what sounds cool, and then just keep it, and like see what else you can add on top of that. So that was like a really, freeing experience. And I'm so glad that you like it.
I'm your biggest fan, but it's really inspiring too, because I mean, you put it into perspective there. A lot of your music takes a long time to make. You build it up, you come back to it, you make some tweaks to try and get some inspiration. It doesn't come to you every time. And like I said in the beginning, get help from other people who are good at what they do. Don't feel like you have to do this all on your own. You can get it to the 20-yard line, but you gotta get some help to get into the red zone, into the touchdown, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, couldn't have done it without the people that helped me with it. So really, really grateful to have them and be able to share the experience of making a song with them and all the good times.
Amazing. Well, thank you for walking us through your track. We're gonna give people the full high quality WAV file audio experience coming up here in a few seconds. Any last words, GLDED?
Thank you, Sherm in the booth, for having me on, and the Beat Breakdown. This was a wonderful experience. So thank you so much for sharing the time with me and asking a little bit more about the track. I really appreciate it. It was great talking with you as always.
Of course, man. Of course. I can't wait to see what the near and far future hold for you, but whatever it is, I'm going to be there first in line looking to get into the show and experience this. And I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Likewise, brother.
My man. Thanks for coming on. This has been Sherm in the booth. Beat Breakdowns, GLDED, Lank.